Hey, what's up guys? Kellen again here with Droid Live. Just a quick tip here with Android N and the new power that has been added to the app switcher. So in the past, before Android N, you hit the app switcher and it pulled up a list of your most recently used apps. You can tell already one difference in that we're sort of showing almost like 3/4 screens of the actual apps that are in here, and when you sort of swipe them down, you just get a lot more information than you did in the past. They're also a little bit wider. They used to be a little shorter or not so wide and a little more squat, so they were just sort of these little rectangles, and they were fine, but now they're showing you a lot more information. But where it gets really cool is if you start pressing the button or holding it or tapping it multiple times. So if I'm at home, for example, and I tap it twice, it actually opens my most recently used app. So let's say I'm in Chrome and I go back home, I can double tap that and actually opens Chrome back up. So it's kind of a cool trick. Another thing you can do is if you tap, it'll bring up your list. And if you tap again, there's this sort of slider that does this countdown. And I know this is sort of hard to see, so I'll show you that one more time. So if you watch sort of just under clock, now if I tap the button again, see that little timer bar that sort of scrolls across? I'll show it one more time here on Chrome. See it slide across, and then it actually opens that app. So that comes in handy because if you tap it once and you sort of get to your list and you tap it and that timer starts, you can actually just keep thumbing through one app after another. You can see I can just kind of keep going as long as that timer's running, and it's pretty quick, so you have to be sort of fast. You can just keep thumbing through apps until you find one you want, and then the timer will eventually go off and then pick an app. So I'll show you that one more time. You can just sort of thumb through, find something you want, and then there you go. So kind of a cool little trick there. Now, if I'm in an app, you can also just double tap, and that will actually take you to the previous app. So on home, if you double tapped, it took you to your most recently used app. But if you're already in an app, like say here, and I double tap, it takes me into the last app I was in before this app, if that makes sense, which is kind of cool. So then you also obviously, well, while we're in an app, you can long press on that and it launches you into multi-window. So there's another added feature, and you can long press to make that go away. And then if you've enabled the shortcut we showed you in the System UI Tuner, you can actually just swipe up from the app switcher to get into multitasking. So I'll show you that again. You can just sort of swipe up, or long pressing does the same trick. Another option though to get into the multi-window is if you get into your app switcher and long press on one of these, you can actually drag it and it will then pop you right into it. So if you've forgotten to maybe long press, you can actually scroll through and you go, oh, I want this. And you'll notice as I'm doing that, and I've seen this, I think this is a little bit buggy, but you notice if I long press, there's now this sort of highlighted area over here on the left side. And so that's where I'm dragging this to. It's a little bit buggy in that I've seen it sometimes on the left and sometimes up top. And I think when you're in portrait mode, that should probably be up top, but look, this is an early build. So anyways, though, these are just sort of a couple of different tricks that you can do with this, and they're very handy. And so we now have, obviously the back button does its thing, home is doing its thing, but we now have an app switcher that does a whole bunch of different things. So if you guys find any other tips or tricks like that, let us know. For now, we're Droid Life. Peace.